Good evening. Welcome to Blue Sky Citadel Training. My name is Mobalaji. Tonight, we'll be doing two things. First, I'll be teaching you on how to use Git and GitHub. After that, we're going to be writing a session for the project you started. And at the end of that, we'll be pushing it into Git. Introduction to Git and GitHub. So this is what we'll be looking at tonight. What is Git? Git command, Readme file in Git, what is Git and versus GitHub, signing up for Git, downloading GitHub for desktop, downloading Git Bash, how to create Git repository, adding, committing, and pushing files to repo with Git Bash, how to create a Readme file with images, and lastly, how to clone a project from Git. So what is Git? Git is an open source distributed version control system. I'm going to explain that. Control system means that Git is a content tracker, so Git can be used to store content. It's mostly used to store code due to other features it provides. Version control system. The code which is stored in Git keeps changing as more code is added. Also, many developers can add code in parallel. So, version control system helps in handling this by maintaining a history of what changes have happened. Also, Git provides features like branches and merges. Distributed version control system. Git has a remote repository which is stored in a server and a local repository which is stored in the computer of each developer. This means that the code is not just stored in a central server, but the full copy of the code is present in all developers' computer. Git is a distributed version control system since the code is present in every developer's computer. So I'll just explain this in a nutshell. What this is saying is Git is like a storage where you can store your code securely and where other people can have access and you also can have access to it later. Git commands. We have different types of Git command. You use them depends on what you want to do when you are committing your code. The first one is Git Config. This command set the author name and email address respectively to be used with your commit. This is used when you are first setting up your Git. You have to configure it to your email and also to your Git init. This command is used to start a new repository. Git clone. This command is used to obtain a repository from an existing URL. That is, if someone already have a Git account, you can go there, copy the URL, and use this command to clone the project to your own system. So, like if you have three or four testers in a team in your team at work, and one tester has already done his framework push to Git. You can go to Git instead of setting a new one up. You can go to Git, clone the repository, and put it on your system. Then you and all other testers can also do that. Then everybody will have the same project on different laptops. Git add. This is when you use this command to add file to a staging area. After creating your repository, your repository will be empty. You want to add your file which is your code. This is the command you're going to use to add these files to your repository. Git commit. This command records or snapshots the file permanently in the version history. So this is saying, after I've added my file, you'll be using the git commit to commit so that it can stay permanently in your history. That means it's going to stay permanently in the repository you created. Git different. The command shows the file difference which are not staged yet. Git reset. This command unstage the file, but it preserves the file's content. Git status. The Git status will list all the files that you have committed. This is after adding your file. You want to confirm if your file have actually added to your repository. Then you can say git to your git. Then you can say git status. Then it's going to show you all the files that has been added to your git. Git rm. This command deletes the file from your working directory and stage the deletion. The next one is Git Log. This command is used to list the version history for the current branch. Like I mentioned earlier, when I was talking about the meaning of Git, what is Git for? I mentioned that in Git you can create branches and you can merge. This branch is where you have your Git, you have a master in your Git. Then when somebody push something into the repository as a master, that is the master. Then you as other testers or developers, you want to go there and clone. You can actually create a branch and be working on the branch and not on the master. That means you are having a copy of the master. Instead of you working on the master so that you don't break the code, you will create a branch for yourself. You are making a copy for yourself and you'll be working on that copy. And after you finish working on that copy, you can go back and merge that your copy to the master so that the master will be updated with the changes you have made. Git show. The command shows the metadata and content changes of the specified commit. Git tag. This command is used to tag to the specified commit. Git branch. This command lists all the branches in the current repository. Like I mentioned earlier, you have the master. You want to create a branch to work on so that you don't break the code in the master. Everybody's creating a branch in the team. You work on, at the end of the day, when you finish whatever you are doing, you can merge it to the master to update the master with all what you have done. And your other team members can also do the same. So for you to know how many branches you have, how many branches you have created under a master, the command to use is git branch. Then it's going to show you all the local branches under that repository. Git checkout. This command is used to switch from one branch to the other. Git merge. This command merges the specified branch's history into the current branch. Like I mentioned, that when you create a branch and you've made some changes in the branch, your master is still there, the changes have not reflected in your master, you need to do a git merge for the changes to be updated in the master. Git remote. This command is used to connect your local repository to the remote server. Git push. This command sends the committed changes of master branch to your remote repository. So after you have done your merging, then you do a push. When you push, then it merges to the repository. Git pull. This command fetches and merges changes on the remote server to your working directly. So after everybody in the team have done a git merge, they've done a git push, both updated the master. You don't have the current, you will not have the updated one that is in the master. They too will not have what you have. So every one of you will have to do a git pull to have the updated version of the master. By the time you do a git pull, you are going to have what the other team member, the second team member, and the third team member, the changes they've made, you are going to have it. They will also have your own. The third person will also have it. So that's why you need, after every merge, you need to do a pull so that you can have the updated one, especially when you are working with, when you have 3 or more people working on the same repository. Git stash. This command restores the most recent stashed files. Next is a Readme file. A Readme file is a text file containing information for user about a software program, utility, or a game. Readme file typically contain instructions and additional help, as well as details about patches or updates. You can add a Readme file to your repository to tell other people why a project is useful, what they can do with your project, and how they can use it. A Readme file helps you communicate expectations and manage contribution to your project. A Readme file is written in Markdown simple file version of HTML. This is more like you having a document about your project, about what you is like having a document about your project, maybe like instructions on how to run your project, what your project is all about. You're going to, if you want to write it instead of putting it in a Word document, it's going to be in a Readme file, because that is what Git will recognize. Git will not recognize you attaching a Word document into the Git repository. It's going to create a Readme file for you. You have to create a Readme file to create that file for you. Then in that file, you put the information about your project. You put anything that has to do with your project. You're going to write it there. And this Readme file, because it's not like a normal document Word. It's an HTML file version. It's a file version, so they have their own commands. You need to type some command when you are typing for your text to come out the right way. What is Readme file? Readme file, like I mentioned, that Readme file, what you can have under your Readme file, what the project does, why the project is useful, how can a user get started with your project, where users can help with your project. If you need help in your project, you can type in there. I allow people, you can contribute, make contribution, look at my project and make contribution. In there, people will type in what they think, what you should add, what you should remove, who maintains and contributes to the project, the challenges you faced while doing the project, and any known bugs that you think will be useful for anybody that will be looking at the project or using the project. You can write all this information in there. The next one is, what is Git versus Git? Git is a version control system, a tool to manage your source code history. GitHub is a hosting service for Git repository, so they are not the same. So we have Git and we have a GitHub. So the Git is the hosting service, while the GitHub is the service for the projects that use Git. The next one is Git Bash. Git Bash is an application for Microsoft Windows environment, which provides an emulation layer for a Git command line experience. Bash is an acronym for Run Again Shell. A shell is a terminal application used to interface with an operating system through written command. So Git Bash is I would say is more like your command prompt. Like on the normal system where you have your CMD command prompt, you check your version. For Git, you will need a Git Bash to be able to use the commands we looked at earlier on. So Git, GitHub, and Git Bash will work together. So Git Bash is used for your commands. That is where you type your commands, your Git add, your Git push. This is the URL. I'm going to send it out. After downloading this, you can start using your command. The first command you can try is Git version, just to check the version of your Git. The next one is how to create a repository. So to create a repository, after you have downloaded your Git Bash, you have registered on Git, your Git Bash, and your GitHub, the next thing for you is to create a repository. You launch your GitHub, you click on File, You select new repository. You enter the name of your project. You enter description, which is optional. You choose the path you want to save it in your C drive, in your D drive. You choose a path. You tick the box to initialize a Readme file. You click Create Repository. This Readme file you are creating is for you to put in the instructions on what your project is all about. Like I said earlier on, a Readme file. So it's going to create a version for you where you will go in and start writing your instruction. You create, then the next thing is to create a repository. You click Create Repository, then you publish your repository, and you untick Keep My Code Private, as you don't want your code to be private. Making it private means it's only you'll be the only one that will see it. But making it public, when you untick it, you allow other people to go into your repository and see and make comments on there. Then the next thing is to click Publish Repository. The next thing, then you go to your Git for web to confirm your repository is published. The next thing is to go to your folder where you saved it to confirm you have your folder created with a Readme file. The next thing is, once you have that, then you can add, you can commit, and you can push your files to your repository. So the first thing to do, go to the folder where you saved it, your D drive, your C drive, or your C drive. Open it to check the status of your Git. You can first check the version of your Git and type git -- version. It will tell you the version, and you can also do a Git status to know if you have any files pending. Then if you do a Git status, it will tell you your folder is empty because you've not added any file. If you have any file pending, it will tell you have some files pending. What do you want to do? But in this case, you're setting it up for the first time. You don't have any file. You should have, your folder should be empty. Then the next thing, since your folder is empty, you want to add your file. And the next thing you want to do is to add your file. So your file is your project. So what you need to do is to go to where your project is saved. Open the project and copy the project, and go back to where your repository, your Readme file is in your C drive or your D drive. Open it and paste your project inside the same place where you have your Readme. In there, your project will be pasted there with the Readme file. Then right-click again and click and select Git Bash to open the command prompt again. Then now you can now type your Git status. Now you should have something in your file because you've just added some files into that. So it should tell you you have this. It will list whatever you have. Then the next thing you want to do, what do you want to do? You want to add this file because our aim is to push this file to our repository. So we need to add. So the next command to use is to type git add space full stop. After that, we want to check if our files have actually added. Then we can now do a git status to confirm if files have added. We do a git status, then it tells us our files have been added, and it will list all the files that have been added. Then the next thing we want to do is to commit. If we don't commit, it's just hanging in there. So we need to do a commit. So now we want to commit. The next command we have to type is to say git commit space -am in quotes. Anything you want to write. This is my first project. This is my first commit. This is my training project. Anything you want to tag, anything you want to call the project, you put it there and put it in quotes. Then you click on enter. Then once that is gone, the files will show you they've gone. Then the next thing you want to do is to do your push. The push, now push everything to your repository. Then you type git push, then you press enter. After that, everything will push, and once it says it's done, then you can now go to your Git web and confirm if your files have actually added. So the next one is how to add a Readme file to a project with images. Like I mentioned earlier on, a Readme file is just like a Word document, but they have a special command they use because it's a markdown. So these are the commands you need to use when you want to type. For a heading, you need to use a hash, space, and the title of the heading, and when you type it, it will come out bold. If you type it without the heading, it will not. So you need to use the hash, space, the heading, then you have your heading bold. Then if you want a subheading, you can do 2 hashes, space, then write your subheading. Then you can see, if you look at it, you will see that the first heading, the size is bigger than the small heading. So the trick is, the more the hashes, the smaller the headings. Then the next thing, another thing about the commands for Readme file is when you are writing. For their paragraph, the paragraph are separated by empty lines to create a new paragraph. So what I'm saying is, in Word, when you type and you click enter, you have space, then you type the next one. But for Readme file, it will not accept that. If you write on one paragraph and you press enter and you write on the next one, by the time you save, the second paragraph will be merged with the first paragraph. So for Readme file, you will need to do a 2 space. So that means after the first paragraph, you need to leave a space, then go to the second space, then you will type. So it's going to create that space. By the time you save it, it's going to appear correctly. But if you really don't want that space and you just want like a single line space, what you can do is to write the first paragraph first, put your first space, go to the next space, write your second paragraph, save it, then come back again and delete that space in between the first and second paragraph, move the second paragraph up, and on the first paragraph, at the end of the first paragraph, do 2 space and save. That way it will create just a single line paragraph for you. The next one is character styles. For italic character, you need to put asterisk before the paragraph and one asterisk before and one asterisk at the end of the paragraph to have that paragraph in italic format. For bold character, you need to use a double asterisk before and a double asterisk at the end. If you have written something and you just want to strike it out, all you have to put is to put 2 characters before and after at the end of the paragraph. For bullet points, 1 asterisk, space, and your paragraph or the text you want to write. Also for numbers, put the number 1, full stop, space, and your text. To add image, it's not like just like you can't just type without the command. To add image also, you need to do some other things for Git to recognize to display your image correctly. So what you have to do is, I always advise that you have your whatever information you want to put in your Readme file, maybe your images, your instruction on a Word document, so you can copy from there instead of you typing straight on. So what you have to do, you have saved your images somewhere. What you have to do is to pick that image, go to your Git and click on issue, create a new issue, and paste that image in the box. Once you paste that, Git automatically creates a link for that image, and that is the link the Readme file will recognize. Once Git creates that, you can copy the link and go back to your Readme file and paste that link. By the time you save it, it will the link will change to the image you want to add. So that is the end. We can now go to the practical part now. Like I mentioned earlier on, that we are going to be writing assertion for the project we started. Then we can now push the project to Git. So now I'm going to launch my IntelliJ. We've done all this. Yes, I'll run this first before writing the assertion. I'll claim and I'll test. Okay, so that's fine. So all we have to do now is the assertion. So to write your assertion, all you have to do is, first of all, you inspect your elements. So this is the elements we are going to be using. You inspect your elements for the message you receive, that your form has been successfully submitted. Like he has told us, you right click on it and look for the elements. Look for the elements and okay, this one. Then you can copy. I'm going to be using CSS selector. So you control find and this. I can edit. If at times when you copy a CSS selector, you have them very long, div. It's something you can still edit. So I can say, okay, I'll just try and be removing some things and still make sure that I'm still having one of one, which is associated to the text message I'm asserting. So what I'll do, I can start from here. I can start from here and say, okay, let me check this, just to edit it. It's not saying anything. Okay. I can go back again. Okay, now it's saying one of one. This is shorter than the first one. Some you have them longer than even this text box. So you just have to try and edit, remove the D's, remove some things until you get one of one. So we can see that this is the element for the form we are asserting. So we know the element is there now. So go back to the IntelliJ, and for assertion we use assert. It will pop up for you. We use assert dot. What we want to assert is the message that is true, that we can the page is displaying the message your form has successfully been submitted, and to assert the element for that. So we are going to be using true for that. So we'll pick on the true, and how we asserting it. We want driver to find the element, like we've been using driver to find the element for. We say driver dot find element by what? We want to find element by, I'm using CSS selector. By CSS selector, I'll put my quotes and I'll go back to my form, copy my element, I'll paste it here. Then because what I want to do, I want it to assert that I can get this there, because this is the element we have inspected. So we have to put, can you get this text that belongs to this element? So what I'm going to be doing is I'll say here, I'll say dot, it will say get text, because I want to get that text. I'll say get text. It will be asking me, what text do you want me to get? Then the next thing I will write is, I'll copy the message here. I'll copy, I want you to assert this text. So I'll put comma, then quotes, then I paste my message. So equals string. because we are stringing a message. So you are saying assert equal that the driver, this element is equal to this message. So that's what it's trying to say. Assert the string is equal to my text. So that's all we have to do. Then just to check if it's working correctly, then you do your clean. And compile. Test. Oh, okay. There's an error. Okay. Now we're going to, because you can see it's giving us an error here. Fail to execute show plugin. Yeah, that's fine. But one thing I noticed is the test ran before the message was displayed. So in this case, when you get this, and another thing you can try and say, okay, let me see what is going on. Is it that the system was so fast for it to see the element, then it failed it? Then what you can do, use a thread.sleep. It's not advisable to always use thread, but I'm sure Mr. Sade will come and teach you about wait. But for today, we'll be using a thread.sleep. I'm going to explain what this does. Should be. Yeah, thread dot sleep. They need to ask you how many minutes. So what this thread means is I want the system to wait till it finds this element. So I want the system to wait for in 3000 is just 3 seconds. You use 1000 for seconds. So what I'm telling is system wait, sleep first, then after 3 seconds look for this element for me. You can increase it as much as you can say wait for, it depends on how fast your system. You can say wait for 10, wait for 15, but like I said, it's not advisable to use it. But for tonight, we'll be using this. I'm sure Mr. will be coming back to teach you more on wait instead of using a thread. It's preferable to use the wait element. So let's try and use this one and see if the system sleeps for 3 seconds before the message comes up. Then by the time the message comes up after the 3 seconds, you'll be able to locate the element and get the path. So I'm going to just compile again. And test. Okay. So that has passed. One test run, failure 0, error 0, skip 0. So that has passed. So that is the end of the testing of the Blue Sky Citadel form. And now we'll be going to push. We want to push this to go and keep it in our repository. So now I'll go back to the slide to go through the slide again. Then, like I said, we need to go to git.com. So all you have to do, I already have this, but I'm going to show you. So when you click on this, like I told you, I'm already registered, so it's going to log me in. So let me log out. So when you come in, it's going to bring you here. It's going to ask you to sign up or you sign in. So what you have to do is to click on sign up. write your username, write your email address, put your password, verify your account, and it will create your account automatically for you. And once that is done, it's going to bring you back to this page as sign in, and it's going to sign you in. So after that, the next thing we want to do is to download the GitHub for the desktop. I already have that, but I can delete mine and also show you. I'll just delete this, and all you have to do is and say download. I'll say GitHub for desktop. So you click on this, that's the link. It's for Windows. If you are using Mac, you click on one for Mac. You click for download for Windows. Once that's downloading, once it's downloaded, it automatically stays on your desktop. So you don't have to go to the download folder. Let's just wait for this to download. So that's downloaded. So if you click on it, you can check your desktop. Yes, click on it and it's going to launch. So once it's launching, it might prompt you to sign in, to link you with your Git that you registered with. So it might prompt you to sign in. At times it might not prompt you to, if that's already signing. Like I'm already signing, so it won't prompt me to sign in again because I'm already to just bring it. So the next thing we want to download is the Git Bash. So you go to the URL, go to your download, click on Git SCM, and that's your Git Bash. So for Windows, for Mac, for Linux, you just click on download. I already have this, but I would delete this. Click on download. So it's downloading. And once that is done, it will tell you to launch. Yes. It will ask you all this. Just click next. Yes, next, next. Git Bash only. Yes, next, next. Just click next, 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 next. Install. Then you install. And once that is done, yes. Then if you want to launch Git Bash, fine. You might not say I want to view release notes. It depends on you. I don't want it. I just want to launch Git Bash. So it's going to launch. Like I said, once this is it, it's just like the CMD prompt that we always check our version. So this one is only for Git. So if I want to check if the version of my Git, I just type Git dash this version, and it will tell me I have a 2.23 Windows 1 version. So that's fine. So that is it. So the next thing we are going to be doing now is the first thing we want to create our first repository. Like I said, we'll go to your GitHub on your desktop. It's always stored on the desktop. Open your GitHub. Sorry. Open your GitHub. Click on File, New. Your repository name is whatever you want. Your project name is. I can say Blue Sky Citadel Java Training. For description is optional, like I said, but I can decide to put one. I just say my training. Anything, it depends on what you want to put. I'll just say my training. My training. Then already in my folder, in my C drive, I already have a folder for all my Git. That's where I store all my Git repository, all my repository. So I've already created that. So anytime I'm pushing anything to Git, I'm creating a new file, it automatically picks it up. So for you, if you are new to this, you have to choose a path. You decide on which path you want to be storing your Git. So you need to know the path because you're going to be going back there to go and add your files and to push them. So that's why I decided to have a folder for my folder under my training folder as a Git that I know all my repositories go here. So anytime I'm looking for anything I just come in here and pick it up. So like this, that's why automatically on my local path it will come up as my C drive under my training. I want to store it. Do I still want to store it there? Yes, I want to. And also you have to have a Readme file so that you can add your document. Then you can say create repository. Then you click on publish so that I can go and publish publish your repository in your Git. Then you can say, like I mentioned, to keep this code private. No, I don't want to keep it private. I want to make it public so that people can see and contribute, or people can see what I've done. Then I'll click on publish again. Then it's going to publish my repository. Yeah, it's going to publish. To confirm if this has really worked, what I can do is to just go to my Git. So I'm going to open my Git and I'm going to sign in. I put my username and I put my password. I sign in to confirm. So when you sign in, it's going to give you this page. These are the repositories I've created in the past. It's going to list them here. So if you are new to Git, it's not going to, you won't have anything here. So all I want to do is to confirm if the one I created is already here. So I go to my repositories and I can see it here. It's already created a repository for me, Blue Sky Citadel Java Training. I created it 2 minutes ago and the description is my training. So fine, this is all set. Then the next thing I would do, as this has created my repository, I have to go and check in the drive also to confirm this is there. So all I have to do is to go back and go to my folder. That's my training where I store my Git. Then I'm looking for what I just created, and this is it. Blue Sky Citadel Java Training. Okay, so, and it has created a Readme file for me. So this is where I'll be adding the document, instructions, or anything I want to add. Like I told you, the format, the text type is a markdown. It's empty. It's already put it there. So now this is more like my domain. This is where I need to do everything I have to do, because this folder is linked to my repository here. So all I have to do here now, I have this there. The next thing I want to do, this is where I need to use my Git Bash now, because all I have to do now is to use the command. So I right click on here, and if you right click inside here, you'll see Git UI and Git Bash. So all you need is your Git Bash. Click on it because that's what we downloaded anyway. And I want to check the status of my repository that I have it. Do I have anything in it? I know I don't have anything, but I just want to confirm. So all I have to do, I want to check. I'll just say Git status. And I press enter. It's telling me on my branch. This is my branch. You have nothing. You have the working tree is clean. I don't have anything. Okay, fine. I don't have anything in my Git. That's fine. Okay, I'll close it. Now I have a project I want to add to my repository. So the next thing I'll do is to go to my project where I save my project, my Java project. It's under Windows, Java Workspace, and it's Blue Sky Citadel form. So all I have to do is open that project, copy this, and go back to my Git repository for the Java training and paste. Now I've pasted it here. So my Git bash should tell me I have something. So the next thing I want to do, I want to check again. I go to my Git bash and I do a Git status again. What's the status of my Git? It's telling me, oh, you have this Blue Sky Citadel for. What do you want to do? Do you want to add? Do you want to do anything? Yes, I want to add. This is where my next command will come in. I say, okay, I want to add. Then I'm going to do git add space full stop. Then I press enter. Then it brings me that, oh, yeah, it has added. To confirm, now I want to confirm if it actually added these files. Then what next do I do? Then I want to use the Git status again to tell me, okay, I've added this file. I type my Git status again to confirm. Then you can see it's telling me I've added all these new files. Okay, fine. I'm happy it's added all my new file. What else do I want to do? Now, I want to commit all this. So when I commit, I want it to go to my repository. So that's my net command. So the command is you do a git status, you do a git add, you do a git commit, and you do a git push. So the next thing I want to do is I want to do a git commit. So I'll do git commit space -am. Then I put my message. What message do I want to? Okay, I can say this is my. It depends. This is my Java Git training. Depends. You can write anything. It's just for you to give it a name so that when you commit, you know, especially when you are committing work little by little, you can say, oh, this is my first commit for my internship. This is my second commit. This is my, so that you can have a trace. Then I say, this is my, for training, for Git training. Then I put the code back. Then I press enter. Then I have to wait for some time for it to process. It's creating. Then it's already finished creating. Then I say, okay, fine. Now, what do I need to do next? I want to push so that all these codes can go to the repository and stay there. That's when I'll use my command and say git push. Then I press enter. Then it's going to load everything. And it will tell me, okay, counting object, 100, done, and everything. So that is done. So it's telling me it's now in your master as Blue Sky, under Blue Sky Java training Git. So now I'm happy this is done. The next thing I want to do is to now go to my repository. All I have to do, I can just click on, go back here again and say, okay, repository, come back again. And it's telling me I've updated my repository 23 seconds ago just now with HTML file. Okay, that means my file is in here. I open this and I can see all my files. So these are all the files from my Java, and this is the test. So this is if you can open the file. This is my step definition. This is my step definition. This is everything. This is everything. So if I want to go back again. And this is my registration step. Yeah, then I can see my test row now. Everything on the project you push, everything will come here. So you can just open each folder and just check. And so that is all you've already pushed. So now I'm going to the Readme file. So like I mentioned earlier, when I was creating the repository, I included that he should give me a Readme file, which he has done, and that is what he has created for me here. He has said Java training, this is the description of my training. That's it. So now I want to add some information under this. Okay, assuming somebody is coming, that doesn't know how Java works or anything, I just want to put something about what the project is all about. So what I need to do so that when they come, they will have something to read about. All I have to do is just to create your README file. You just click on this pen, and it will open this for you. Like I mentioned, it's a markdown. You can see it's not the normal Microsoft Word interface that we have. So you can see already, it's already giving you that for this hash, this is the heading. So it's giving the first hash, this is the heading. So this is my second heading. If I decide, okay, I want to remove the second heading. I don't want this my training anymore, or let me just leave it, or I want to make it bolder. All I have to do is to put more space here. And like I told you, you put your hash. I want it to be like a subhead. And you can just say commit for you to see is actually a subhead. Can you see it has changed? It has become bigger. And if I say, okay, I want to do one thing about this README file is you have to write, commit, edit, you have to go in front and back. So that is one thing I don't like about it. So I want to decide, I want to make this my training. I want to write something else, but I want to make it a subhead or a smaller version. So I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I try Java instruction. Then I'll do my commit changes again just to be sure it's well aligned. You can see it's smaller now. So like I said, the hash sign, the smaller you want your heading to be, the more you had your hash, the more you had the hash in front of it. So if I decide I want to write, okay, I'm not doing any headlines, I just want to start writing my text on, okay, I want to say, and then I told you have to create a two space for you to write if you want it to be bold. If you don't create a two space, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to say, okay, I want to start writing the body text now. I want to say this project is for Blue Sky Citadel. And the next place I want to say it's a Java project. If I save this now, it's going to model up. It's not going to look good. So if I commit change, you will see it's going to be on the same line, which I don't want. And I typed it on the second line. So I don't want this. So that's why I said you need to use your space here. So what you need to do here is to add one more space. If you had one more space in between each paragraph and you commit and you save, then it recognizes two space. But if you decide, no, I don't want this two space, okay, first of all, you need to write it like this. Then you go back again and do your edit. And what you have to do is to delete this line and put two space in front of the first paragraph. Then you do your commit. Then you can see one line space and your next paragraph. But you still need to do the two line space first. Come back and edit it. Clean up the line and put this two space in front of the first paragraph to have it. That is if you don't really want the big double line and the big space in between each one. The next one is if you want to write something in italic, you do your asterisk and say, I want to write in italic. Then you put your two asterisk. Oh, sorry. This is for bold. This is for bold. That's for bold. So I'll just use that for bold. That is for bold. If you want it to be, let me rewrite something so that I can come. Eric character. So if you want to write another heading to be bold, something to be bold, not an heading, maybe like a subhead, you use your two asterisk and to come out bold. So to write in italic, you come here and do your, this, I want italic, and you put your star, then you commit, just for you to be sure, and it's going to be written in italic. If you want to write the bullet points, all you have to do is to do your italic space and like first step. First step. Then that is it. Then you have your bullet points. And if you want numbers, you just put the number 1, full stop, space, just like normal word, and say second step. And you click on commit. So every time you type, you need to commit to be sure what you are writing is displaying correctly. So now I think, yeah, another thing we want to do, I'll do now, is to add image. Like especially those people doing internship, part of your project, you're going to be pushing and also be writing instructions on how to execute your test. And now from downloading Java to downloading IntelliJ with with images, and you are going to be putting it in the Readme file. So this is a very good thing. So for you to add images to this, all you have to do, like I told you, I have some images here that I've pasted out. For you, if you do a normal copy here and say I want to paste, it will not accept it. And say, just close all this down. So if you just do a normal copy image and say edit and do your paste, no, it will not. So what you have to do here is to go to, this is the issue I was talking about. Click on issues. It will ask you want to leave this page, yes. And you want to create a new issue. You can call it any title, but because you're going to be creating a lot, but if you want to submit it or something, because you're going to be creating a lot, I'll just copy here and I'll paste the image, and can you see it has converted it to a link? So if you click here and say preview, that is the image I copied. So this is what Git will recognize. So all I have to do is to copy this and go back to my Git, a Readme file, and click on this and copy and paste that link. I paste that link and I'll click on commit changes. Then my image will be displayed. So that's how you add image. So if you have another image again, go to your image, copy it, go to your Git, click on issues, new issue. You claim this one because they always stay there so that you don't have the same image, and copy. Automatically it will upload the image and create a link for it. You preview and be sure this is the image you want. Yeah, that's the image. So you go copy your link again, copy, go back to your Readme file, click on Readme, paste your image, double slash again, paste it, and commit changes. So that is it. So another thing I will teach you is creating just a Readme file without a project, because you might be asked to just create a Readme file. Maybe you like this training. Maybe the way you download, the way you set up your framework, you don't have to have a project or have any project. You just want to have a document in your Git and everything. All you have to do is, you just want a Readme file. All you have to do is create your file like we did first. Create a new repository and say, you might just say, what's the name of my project? Setting up. You can say setting up Java. Setting up Java. Okay, it doesn't accept space. That's another I forgot to tell you. It doesn't accept space. So setting up Java, and I can say framework. Framework. I also want to store this in my Git repository readme. Then I'll just say choose. Sorry, it's already chosen. Then I'll create it. Then I'll publish. I want to keep it public. I don't want it private. I publish again. So that's just the readme file. I'm not adding any projects. I just want to add some information into it. So the next thing I'll do is to drop this one and come back to my repository and confirm where my repository, and you can say it's already here setting up. So on. I'm not adding any code to this one. All I want to add is a readme file. Then I start writing the same thing, the same way I want to start when I install. Then here you can add your image and everything, and then you save it. That is it. For your internship, you'll be have to send in your URL. Your URL will have to clone it and download it on the system and actually check what you have done, run it, and make sure the test is working well. And also for most employers, when they give technical tests. And when they give you technical text, most of them will tell you, can you put it in a Git and send us the URL? Or some even tell you that the task you are going to do is in a Git, They are going to send you the URL, go to the URL and follow the instructions. So this is where you see all the instructions under the README file. And they want you to have the project on the same file, on the same URL, on the same repository. So some of them will say that, some of them will not say that, but most of them, they always want a Git URL. Can you put it in a Git URL and send us the URL? Because there's no how you can send them the project anyway. So that's why it's good for you to know how to do this. When they ask you to send in your repository, your URL, this is all you have to do. Sorry. This is all you have to do. Just click on, you can check your repositories here. All you have to do is click on this, and just click on this and use this copy link to copy. So this is your URL. This is your repository. So once you copy this and send to them, they will open it and it will download automatically on their system. I think that's where I'll stop for tonight. Is there any question? I want you to show us how to click a radio button using scenario outline example.
I think for the example that Bolaji showed right now, she was able to click on radio, but open the project again. So for scenario outline is basically the same thing. I just copy that. So one thing also that you need to write is the title of your scenario. So let's say that is so that is brand test. So let's say we are now creating another test now, another scenario. So in this instance, we're going to be using scenario outline. So if you have scenario outline, I think the last time I also mentioned that when you have scenario outline, you must make sure you have examples. So then you put that examples. So for example, for you to have scenario outline, is basically you want to have different data or data sets. So I think I also mentioned, let's say we want to say enter last name, and we want to say our last name is this. So last name. And the same way also you want to say enter first name. So now you can see this is not, he hasn't got any binding again, so you have to write binding, because by this you are now passing your last name and first name as a parameter. So once you are doing that, you also come into example. So in your example, you're going to pull that. You're going to say last name. And then first name. Then you're going to put your text for the last name. So let's say mine is this. And no, my first name. Yeah. First name. So, why can you type yours? Okay, so
Sorry.
okay, yeah, there's a question how to use scenario outline for checkboxes. There's no difference on how to use them, to be honest. So it's the same way. So how can you use moving, tab, clean? Yeah. So that is basically easy. You just okay. We'll look into that. Okay. All right. So then what you need to do now, yeah, based on that response, you just create your step definition. And your step definition now, you have that. I think 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, we spoke about this. So if you can create the step definition for those ones. Mulai,
What?
can you create step definition for them, for the two?
For these two?
Yes, please. Just right there, I think.
Yeah, it's not taking the right way because
You can say go to step definition. It should give you that's another option. Go to implementation.
For both sides. Should take one by one.
Should be fine. Yeah. Complete. Yeah. Okay. So now, where's this?
It's already okay. This is it.
I think yeah. So now for this one now, what you just need to do. So these are the two ones that you just done. So if you go to the first one that you did, let's copy the steps for the first one without the parameter. Okay. Can you copy those two methods?
Just try it.
Okay.
Let me copy this one.
Okay, cool. All right, no problem. So I think we just need to remove this one. Okay, all right. So now, for what we've seen, in this, let's talk about the first name first. Our first name is hard-coded here, right? But we don't want it to be hard-coded. That's why we've not put in our feature file. Now, our feature file is going to be sending this argument to us. and we can change this argument 0 to first name. So, and it's coming from our feature file. So, I think that's right. Yeah. So instead of this strategy inside the code, we would now replace that with our variable, which is name.
Awesome.
So that means now our first name is now parameterized. So the same way we do it also for the last name. So we change the argument. You can use the argument also, to be honest, but it's only that it's not self-explanatory. So for instance, because some people sometimes get confused to see what are we. So if you say arg0 is the same thing. So because this particular argument is coming from a feature file. So when the test is being run, what is in your feature file, like I enter last name, then this is what your argument is. So which is the first one, let's say is JG. So it's going to be replaced by this argument. So but because this argument is not self-explanatory, we will sometimes change it to what can it's actually meaningful. So that's where I will change that to last name. So then if I change that to last name, then I will also change this one to last name. Okay, so that is the same way. If we go to the feature file, as you can see, that is now changed. So and your last name is getting from the same way. If you want to use the email as parameter, you just do the same thing, and you put your email is here. For radio button, you may not be able to do it for radio button because there's no how you're going to send your parameter in a radio button because you don't get the parameter into radio button. You see that? So for like a text messages, you can put your text messages also here to say the enter message, you put message and you put your content. Then you now say enter message under and you pass the parameter also here. And you put your parameters here and you go into that method, you convert it to use that particular parameter you sent. So and then the same way also, let's look into this and register and let's say we now say and then the message. And now we want to say characterize our message that has been displayed so that you can use it anywhere. You can say message. So you would then put it here and say message. So and close that bracket. And what is the message that will be displayed? So let's go into the let's create that one. So now this is the last one that Mbolaji did. So I'm going to copy that one. So I will replace it with this one. Okay. So what I need to do now is this particular message now. This message is coming from, it's now coming from our feature file. So instead of putting our message here now, we'll put it in our feature file. So because that becomes our parameter. So if you don't understand this one, it's okay because this is a bit advanced anyway. So you will put changes to message, and then what we're going to be asserting with is going to be message. So if you go to the feature file now, our message will be what we've already copied, and we'll press it here. So it's going to be in braces again. So okay, so basically that's what you would do. Now, what you just said is that, oh, okay, this is something wrong actually. So as you can see, this is showing different color and that's showing different color. If you need to look into that, you say what exactly is the issue. So this is got less than, and it's not got any closing path. So yeah, so that's the issue then. So that's fixed. As you can see, it follows the same trend anyway. So now you now have your message as a parameter. So this is kind of you doing data-driven issue, data-driven development. So your message is now passed inside your feature file. It's not in your step definition again. So basically, if any message changes, you can also be changing it here, actually. So that is what you will do. So now, one issue that you will find is scenarios that you have in a feature file must be unique. So otherwise, you're going to have error. So I think I've already got valid test at the first one. So you would change that to be a different name. So that's how to use a scenario outline with examples. How that is cleared. Yes. So how do we parameterize email and add sample? It's the same way also for email. I think it's the same way. There's no difference. You just do the same thing for the email. So and I enter my email. So in this one now, you want to pass your email as a parameter. You will do it like that, and you say email. So now your email now, as you got a new step definition to create, and you need to add your email as, because inside the table, and then you would put your email. So as you can see, so this is email and it's not showing the same color as what we have. So I'll go back and I will go and check why that is. So see if what I've written is the right thing, and so the same way I think I made the same mistake. So I mean that it's basically quote then less than your title that you want to your what's it called, your header for your table, then you close it with a greater than and you put a quote. So and if you go down, as you can see, it's already there and it's there. So the next thing that you need to do now is to create that step definition for the email as we've done. So you just need to do the same thing Hot enter, and then create step definition. So now, since you just need to do the same thing. So what we're going to do also next week, maybe I'm not sure that Mobilaji will do it or myself. So we're going to use page objects. So we're going to reformat this one so that we can use page object, which is a new way. So maybe we'll try that, and that's another thing I want to cover. So I'll look into the course material to see what we've not actually covered. So we still have the weight, we have the page object. So once you understand this linear approach, then you'll be able to understand the page object approach also. So that's what. So this one now, I'll just need to go to the top and then look at the way I've we've used the email and copy it and then change to use a parameterized way. So where's the email? Okay, there you go. So this one, as our email is getting the email and sending the keys. Maybe that's where some people are asking. So how would I use this?
That's another thing. Maybe the person is asking that parameterized without example.
Okay, with that example, I think
that you pass all everything.
Yeah. So that is quite easy, to be honest. It's the same thing. So if you want to parameter with that example, it's the same thing that you don't need to do much, to be honest. So let me finish this, then we'll do that right now. So if you paste that here, so now my CSS selector, I will leave that. So what's going to change is my email address. So now my email address is not going to be hard-coded. I will get it from my feature file. So like I said, anything I get from my feature file is what I've got as a parameter here. So I will change that. Instead of argument 0, I'll change that to email. Then I'll change this one to email. So then that's going to be email. So that is basically how to use that with example. So if you are not using examples, let's go back again to the feature file. Let's say we now have valid test 2. So which is not going to use example, but direct actually. So now, let's say this is now valid example, valid test 2. And valid test 2 now is not going to be a sample. So because we are not going to use as example, we is not going to use scenario outline. So let's remove outline. Oh. Can you please undo for me, please?
No?
Undo?
Is that okay?
No, undo. Undo. Okay, yeah. So now I need to remove the scenario outline. So because I'm going to be using scenario outline, as you can see, it's underlined as red, and it's even giving you a suggestion. Only scenario outline could have an example. And to be honest, this is one of interview questions to see that what is the difference between scenario and scenario outline. In a scenario, you don't have examples. So, but if you use scenario outline, you need the example. So, and then, so what is the difference now if I have this? So because I've removed the table, right? So I won't be able to do something like this again, because when you have this, it's basically you're using tables. So the close bracket, less than and greater than, is what that makes it to use table. So what you're going to be using, I will just pass the parameter directly. So, and then, so I say parameter directly. So my first name. And now, because I'm not using table, this is not going to be title table head or heading, right? It's going to be the read first name that you are actually passing. But however, it's also going to be like a parameterized anyway. So it's going to be instead of the title, you're going to put your read data that you want to pass as a parameter. So this will be the age, and this will be the first name. So if you leave this like this, it's going to send this particular text into your text box basically. So that's what it's doing, because you are not using examples right now. If you're using an example, that becomes like a title or heading. But if you're using an example, that becomes a text that is like your own real value. So because it's our real value right now, that's why we need to change it to my real email address. So basically, that's what you need to do. Then, okay, this I will say this is now. So now, what's the difference between another difference that you have? Now, this one that we have example, this one becomes two tests, because this is one test. It's going to go through this scenario using this particular first line of the text, so as your data, and after that, you will run again using the second line as your data. But in this particular one, it's only going to run it once. So those are the difference. Hope that is clear. Then, so that we finish on this also, I will quickly talk on this assertion. So different way what you can assert also. So okay, now an assertion. Now let's say I also want to confirm that an element is visible, element is displayed. There are different things that you can assert if you are conversant with manual testing that you've done. So in terms of automation, what can I assert? In some cases, I might want to check. Hold on. Okay, if I go back to the form, okay, let's say I am here right now. I want to now assert that I am on this particular URL. You can confirm that you're on this page, right? You're on this particular URL. You can confirm the URL. Then also you can confirm that this particular text is displayed. I'm not saying that's your right scenario, but I'm only giving instances that you want to do to be sure that, okay, this particular text is displayed. You can confirm that, you can assert all those things. So how do you do them? Is by, let's create another feature file and say this one I will just need to change that. So this is for the last one. So I'm going to use another and. So this one now, I'm going to confirm that I'm on the right URL. I'm on the right page. So, and I can use I can use that. I can parameterized one. Let's see if my campaign is going to work. Oh, that's good. So now I'm actually passing my URL as a parameter, and I want to confirm if that particular URL is what is being displayed. So then also I want to also confirm and that this particular button is displayed. This search button is displayed. So you can also find that. So that search, no, let's say we can do the two anyway. The search text box and also the search button, and the search text box is displayed. And the search button is displayed. So also I would need to quickly say, if I go into, let's go into this now. So let me use this. Okay, now what you would need to do, okay, I think we already have one before for messages. We can remove that one. Okay, I think the messages one, we can remove that one, so that we can remove that all. Just so for us to carry on. So now what we're going to do now, we want to confirm. We've done the confirm email address. Okay, this is the new message that we have. So I don't know what happened that I've changed. So what we could do, this works on C#. You can do another thing. You can have something like this in C#. Duplicate annotation, so it doesn't work. Yeah, there's kind of a difference in this. Oh, okay. This is called the end, so that's fine. So you can remove this one. So that's what's that? Okay. So this is not what we wanted to do, so just a distraction anyway. So I just want to, because it's creating it's displaying an error, so I just need to fix that. So quickly, a message. Okay, then I can delete this one. Okay, just to have a clean code. Now let's go in there. So this one now. So we want to confirm that we are on the right page, or basically we want to confirm that this page is the page that is displayed. So if you go into that screen, go to the implementation of the step. So this is we want to confirm we're on the right page. So we replace this one now. So then if you're on the right page, we know it's our driver. So we call our driver dot. So let's see, get URL is get current URL. So that will display your current URL that you are in. So that is that is the current URL basically. So and then what you need to do, you need to assert that particular URL is equal to what you are getting. First thing is that okay, this is our URL that we are actually getting from the feature file. So I will change that to URL, right? I'll change that to URL. And then I can now say, let me, just to make it simple and step by step, displayed URL is equal to this one. That's, yeah. So this is going to be, if you call this, it's going to be our display URL. So that's, let me just put that together. Okay, so now what I'm saying right now, my current URL, when my application runs and it gets to that particular URL, it's going to get the current URL and it's going to store that URL in this particular variable I've declared. It's going to say is display URL. Then what am I going to do now? I will now need to compare. This particular display URL with this URL that I'm getting from feature file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say something like displayed. So I'm going to say like is my display URL is it equal to URL? Something like that is what I will need to do. But how do I do it? So it's what I'm going to show you right now. So I'm going to comment that one out. So basically that's what you need to assert. So now we know that for us to assert, we're going to use assert. There are two ways to do. Mobile I'll show you one is assert equal. Assert equal. So now assert equal basically you say my first one and second one, can you compare them together? So the first one, my expected, okay, is display URL, and the one that the actual one is the URL. So basically that would do the assertion for you. It's going to compare what in my current browser, what my current browser has, and what I am expecting it to have. So, and that's what you do. So this is one way, and so that's one way of asserting it. So then second way, number two. So another way. So, and because you know that you are only comparing both of them, you can say assert true also. Assert dot assert true. So if you're doing that, what are you going to do? You are going to say something like what I said at this top here. So basically saying is my display equals to URL. So display URL is equal to URL. So what you are saying is that this should be true. If they are true, then that means they are also equal. So that is one way to do that. And I think that so that's that. So in terms of how to assert, so this is basically asserting a Boolean object. So you can make them to be true, or you can make them to, you can use the condition. So that's one way. So now let's go next one. The next one is we want to confirm that this particular text box is displayed. So I'm not going to do everything because of time, but I would base it on your previous experience, right? So now what I'm going to do would give us open another chapter for the next stage, which is going to be page object that we're going to do next. So what I'm good, my school of thought now is I've got a search box. So there's a search box. So I have a search box. So then let's say that's my search box. Then after that, I get the search box. Then I confirm that if the search box is displayed. Okay, so what you need to do in this one now is to get your search box. We already know how to get it. So we say driver dot find element. How we are going to find it by what? Say we use CSS. So if you go into our DOM and then inspect. So look for, let's expand this thing. If you find yourself in this, you need to make sure that it's expanded because it's using a different orientation. So it's yes. Is it the one? Okay. All right. So now it's coming with the web version. So let's inspect the elements. So if we inspect these elements, then we can get the CSS, copy the selector. So let's go back to our IntelliJ. So, and yeah, we want to use CSS selector dot CSS. Then we put our selector in there. So can you paste what we copied?
No, I don't think you copied the right. Let me see.
Hold on, don't worry. I think if I don't use the shortcuts, maybe it's because no. Oh.
I think the ID and the CSS is
Oh, is it the ID?
Is this ID is S? Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine.
Let's
Then.
just confirm.
Okay. I think that's okay. That's where it's putting the hash. S.
Yeah, that's the ID. That's the ID.
Okay. All right. Cool. So don't worry. So I can type it in there then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's the CSS for that particular text box. So now, so the next one you need to do now is okay. So this is how you found the search. So the next one is now you save that particular search. I will show you different ways to do. So you can say not to complicate things. So I will remove this part. Okay. So now we found the element. So the next part is for us to now confirm that that search box is displayed. So we copy this now. So if you copy this, we display this here. So now what do we need to do to this? We say dot display. So is display. So if the display is going to be true or false, right? So if it display is going to be true, if it's not display, it's going to be false. So then what you need to do now, you need to add start. You need to have your assertion. Okay. Let's continue. So assert. So okay, I think I know what the problem is. So this is always a section. Okay. So need to assert. So, and we also know that, like I said, the one at the top here is going to display true or false for us. If that element is displayed, it's going to be true. If it's not displayed, it's going to be false. So assert that we're looking for will be assert true. We take the assert true. And then the condition that we're looking for is this particular condition that we get here. So we copy the condition and we put it inside our assert true. And paste it. So basically, that's what we're looking for. Then all these are just my thoughts, so we don't need it. So this is only line that we needed. So this is saying assert true. Then your driver, how you find your driver, then is driver displayed, and that's it. So this is going to assert if that element is displayed. So the same thing that you might have to do for this the button also is the same thing. So you just need to use the CSS for that particular button. And that's you done. So, and I will leave you to do that one later. Any questions? All right. So if there's no questions, so okay. 1 minute. Or how can we moving tab compile? Okay. All right. So we look into this one next week. So how to use moving to limit to one feature. So it's just normal command. So you use from your command prompt to be able to use one to run one feature, to be honest. So we're looking to remind me tomorrow, next week when we come back. So we will look into that. Hi, Abisola. If it's a quick one, let's get it. In the start, you copy was ID or CSS was entered. Okay, is that true? Are you talking about this one?
It was CSS we copied, but the ID when you have an ID, the CSS automatically is hash that ID.
So what you were saying, for instance, let's say you have an ID. Your ID is equal to, let's say, underscore button. So if that is the ID, so which means that if you have the CSS for this will just be hash slash underscore button. So that's basically it. So the same way here, I say hash S because the ID is S. So if you want to use, if you have to use ID here, this is what we would do. We just say dot ID by ID by ID. Then instead of the hash, it's going to be S. Hold on, I think that doesn't make sense. Dot ID. So instead of the hash, it's going to be only S. So that's what you do. So this one and okay. Okay, so this one and this. That's, so yeah. So this one and this one now is the same thing. In this case is CSS with hash, but in this one is ID without hash. So they are all the same thing. So I will delete this one. Okay, I think that is it. Any other question? So for next week, we will plan to use page objects, and we look into weight, and also what Rich has mentioned. We look into how to run your tests using Maven, using one. Yeah, we might also look into the power of Google, how to, when you find yourself in an issue, because what even Richard mentioned, Google, you can actually get it from Google, to be honest. So, but we look into how to get this thing out from Google, because after this particular training, you should be able to know how to get things out by yourself. So, and because it's not possible for us to teach everything, so but you should be able to know how to get things out when you need them. So, okay. All right, so let's see. There's another question. Okay, I think that is it. If there's no other questions coming on. Okay, 1 minute. So, I don't know what you mean by multi-select, to be honest. I think we've already done that last 2 weeks ago. Or 3 weeks. We've done select. So, and that so if you look into the previous video that we did, it covers select. You just need to put it twice. What is list piece? I don't know what that is. Yeah, we've done that actually. So what you just need to do is to use it twice, basically. So we've done select. We'll try to look into that again, but I think it's not good for us to be repeating things. Otherwise, we're not going to finish. So we've done the select. What you just need to do, if you have to select one, we've done that. If you have to select more than one, you just need to use that code twice or 3 times, and it's going to select as many as you want. So is it possible to automate a workflow application? Yes. So you just need to click. As you click, a workflow application also will involve you having to click different control or different elements, the same way that we've done right now. So the what Mulaji has shown to us, let's say, is one page to the other. So if you click on submit, that will be a workflow. Then after that, another page is going to be displayed to you to continue. So then you also need to fill in that particular form. So, and you would do the same thing that you've done in the previous one. So yeah, so what you've done is enough to get the workflow. And if you are also in the internship, right, if most of the applications that you're going to be working on are also a workflow application. So for instance, if you are posting an application, if you are using posting a product on an item, so there's a workflow that you need to cover when you post, and then get emails, you send all those and so, and that's it. Can we undo email notification with automation? That we cannot. So there's a different way to do that actually, because for email notification, you might have to log into your email, right? So which that sounds saying is, so unless you want to automate logging into your own personal email to get that email notification out. But most people don't do that. They rather do it manually. As everyone knows, automation is there, but there's still place for manual testing. So that's where for other guys that don't, if you are in this class, you think it is too techy or something like that, but you are very, very okay with manual testing. There is some jobs that will be done with manual testing. So it's not everything that will be automated anyway. So there would be something that the 4 eyes need to check actually. So, and there's always a place for manual testing. So those are one of the areas that manual testers will be used for. All right, apologies, it's taking too much of the time. So, because we're trying to finish everything within 2 or 3 weeks. So max before mid of this is August now. So September we should be able to finish, and so in the internship also finish at the end of September. So that's everything done. So yeah, just bear with us. So we have 2 classes. Then after the 2 classes, we might do 1 class to just summarize everything that we've done. Yeah. So I think these 3 remaining classes is very important. So we look into page object next week and other things that wait, and then different things. The following week, we look into the other question that comes. And also, if we still need to do another one, it's going to be like summary. If there's no other one, the next one will be summary of everything. So which basically is starting from end to end and do everything. So, and Mobalaji has gone through Git right now, which is very important, even for people that are doing the internship. It's very, very important that you would get that. You would put your code in the internship. All assignments have to be in your Git repository. It's very, very important that you do that, and it will be submitted to Git henceforward. So I know you guys are using, what's it called, Google Drive. So yeah, going forward, if it's going to be an assignment, it has to be on GitHub. Okay, because like she also mentioned, it's very, very good so that you can put in your CV that you did that. So for every class, you would create a project, you would create your package. So, and once any recruiter goes in there and sees that you've got like 5 or 6 different projects already open, they might not even open it, to be honest, but the fact that you have presence, you know what you are doing. So it actually boosts your profile. All right, thanks everyone. So have a good night.